In this video, we uncover the tragic story of a young woman who became the target of a relentless obsession. A case that spiraled into something no one could have predicted. This is the story of Ellie W. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more true crime content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'm always curious to know where you're watching from. So drop your location in the comments below. Let's get into the case. Ellie W. lived in the quiet town of West Ohio, far from the chaos of big city life. At just 23 years old, she had the soul of a free-spirited artist. Everyone called her Ellie, and to them, she was a warm burst of color in a gray world. She had recently moved from Minneapolis, Minnesota, with her family, settling into a modest apartment in Westchester. After some time, she decided to live alone. Just her and her pet gecko, Gail, who she doted on like a child. Those who knew her said she was magnetic. She loved scrapbooking, dancing barefoot in the grass, making handmade jewelry, and writing in journals filled with dreams and doodles. Ellie had a deep connection with nature. Her mother once said that from the time she could walk, you'd always find her outside planting flowers or trying to build hammocks between trees, even if she was wearing her fanciest dress. At the time of her disappearance, Ellie was getting ready for a lot of exciting things. A gallery opening featuring her artwork, a music festival trip with friends, and perhaps most importantly, she had just ended a relationship she said had started to feel like a cage. That relationship, it turns out, would be the key to the terrifying events that followed. And just as things were starting to look up, Ellie had recently earned her hairdressing license, something she had worked hard for. She was proud, ready to begin a new chapter doing what she loved. But as the summer of 2018 crept in, that familiar spark in her eyes began to dim. Her always cheerful attitude, the one everyone knew her for, was being tested to its limits. She began receiving weird messages, not once, not twice, but relentlessly, from unknown sources using fake phone numbers, strange usernames, and burner accounts across Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, even through text messages. At first, she thought it was a prank, but it wasn't. It had happened before, maybe once or twice over the last year. But now, it was constant, unsettling, obsessive. The way the person spoke, the rhythm, the tone, even the phrasing, made her certain it was the same individual behind every account, despite the different platforms and devices. Ellie's intuition screamed danger, and soon her fears were confirmed. One night, she received a Facebook video, a video that made her stomach turn. It had been filmed right outside her home. Someone had positioned themselves near her house, capturing footage of Ellie, unaware and vulnerable. In the video, the figure filming could be seen touching themselves, exposing their body. And then, the most terrifying part, sitting at what looked like her kitchen table, watching her through the window. More videos followed. Each one was worse than the last. Each one more invasive, more violent. Just when it seemed the twisted messages were as bad as it could get, this turned into something darker, something disturbing beyond words. Ellie was shaken. Her best friend, Hannah, described it perfectly. It was like a sick, twisted game of cat and mouse, except Ellie never signed up to play. That was the final straw. Ellie called the police. She reported everything, the usernames, the messages, the videos. One detail she pointed out stood out to investigators, a recurring name. Mickey, or sometimes just Mark. Did that really mean anything? They asked. Ellie hesitated, then admitted, Michael was the name of an ex-boyfriend from
connection with the murder of a Westchester woman.
Chief Joel Herzog basically is saying they want to protect the crime scene. They want to protect the prosecution possibilities. They want to protect everything right now until they're absolutely certain what they have. But here's what we know right now. They've made an arrest. Michael Strauss, 29 years old, of Westchester. Chief Joel Herzog says it was a tip from someone that led them to Milliken Road between Maud Hughes and Yankee Road. They've swarmed the area with drones, with helicopters, officers on foot, and they found a body.
Damn it, I know who it is. She texted her friend immediately. My ex-boyfriend, from when I was 17, Michael Strauss. Ellie and Michael had dated long ago. At first, it was innocent. They shared a love for music, art, and small-town events. But things turned toxic fast. She eventually broke it off and cut contact completely. She hadn't spoken to him in years. Now it seemed he had never truly let go. She brought the name to the police. On July 28th, she messaged Nate, an online friend she had been talking to for months. They had talked about meeting in person and had even set a date that day. But then Ellie changed her mind. "I'm not bringing my phone. Is it cool if I just knock?" Nate asked. Ellie was uneasy. She decided not to meet. Nate responded again. "What's this I'm hearing about some creep following you?" "Lol, no one is creepy to me, so I don't know," she replied. She told him she was home alone, no friends over. She was getting ready to go to bed.
From videotaping women. Do you ever do that from outside, or is it always when you're inside somewhere?
It could be anywhere. It could be at the park. It could be walking, jogging past somebody or something like that. Yeah, it's whenever I come across somebody attractive.
Have you ever filmed a woman jogging from inside of your car?
Probably. I would assume so, yeah.
Put your hands up here for me. I have another video of someone wearing this bracelet inside of a white
report. No one had heard from her. Calls went unanswered. Her car was still parked outside. Her bank card hadn't been used. Neither had her phone. Everyone suspected the truth. This had everything to do with the story.
It's going to be Ellie White. That's Ellie White. That's Ellie White's head under a bag. Why you have her driver's license, why you have the necklace that came off her neck, why you have a clump of her hair in a tin that you even call it a tribute.
Instead, they labeled it telecommunications harassment, a far less serious charge. They did find something. One of the numbers Nate used had a 213 area code, traced to a number bought online. It had no prior history, wasn't linked to any actual phone, and had not been used since Ellie vanished. Investigators reached out to the website that saw
anybody any reasonable person is going to believe that Ellie comes outside with a blanket on, getting ready to go to your house with zip ties on her hands, unless she's being forced or threatened.
And we were filming the thing, and we were filming this for scenes, and like I said,
over the past 10 years, he'd been arrested for public indecency, drug possession, burglary, and identity theft. After a 2015 incident, he was required to get a mental health evaluation and 1 year of treatment. But clearly, he hadn't changed. In the 53 minutes after his final message to Ellie, Michael had already made new fake numbers and even registered a fresh account on the same site. Then, on August 24th, less than a month after she went missing, the case took a horrifying turn. Tonight, we now know the body discovered in Liberty Township is that of 23-year-old Ellen W., missing.
For him in Butler County, just in the last few minutes, we found a number of arrests and several other charges for him in previous cases. Right now, though, he is facing a new charge, a murder charge.
We'd like to thank the community for their support. We received a number of tips and other information from the community and the associates of Ellie, which is what led us to help solve this crime. Without their support, it would not have been able to be done. Westchester police officers and detectives are some of the most dedicated professionals I've ever known. But due to the size and complexity of this case, we enlisted the assistance of BCI, the FBI, Butler County Sheriff's Department, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and many others in order to investigate this crime thoroughly and without delay. The FBI, we received assistance from the FBI 5, Squad 5 Major Crimes Unit, their Behavioral Science Unit out of Quantico, and a highly specialized unit that concentrates on digital communication evidence. We have pictures posted up here of Ellie. And as you can tell how free-spirited she was and what a beautiful human being she was. Over here to my left, you'll see the rainbow. That is directly above where Ellie was found, and that rainbow appeared shortly after we located her body. That in itself touched many of the officers on the scene, and that is what you will see. You see the picture because the way it did touch the officers, and they felt it was a true sign from her of a thank you for bringing her home. And that was the goal here. Unfortunately, it was not brought home alive.
9 charges were brought against 29-year-old Michael Strauss by a grand jury. These include aggravated murder, 3 counts of tampering with evidence, menacing by stalking, petty theft, abuse of a body, and gross abuse of a corpse. There was a service for Ellie on September 1st.
From his Maps app. When asked about it, he gave a vague excuse, claiming he was studying locations for a film script because he worked in the movie business. But then, investigators found something that tore through every lie. In his house, hidden among his belongings, were some of Ellie's most personal items, her driver's license.
A contribution to death. We also know she's had different signs of depression, anxiety in different manners, all of which go to a theory of how she potentially may have met her demise in this.
Michael told them a version of the story. He said Ellie had agreed to help him film a torture scene, that she went to his house willingly, that they used zip ties as props, and she had a plastic bag over her head as part of a scene. He claimed her death was an accident caught on camera.
Have a toxicology report which indicates what was in Miss White's body at the time she was found. Whether or not that she was depressed or had anxiety really isn't relevant to the determination of who killed her.
But Michael Strauss would finally admit that he killed Ellie, so there would be no trial.
Aggravated murder menacing by stalking, tampering with evidence, petty theft, abuse of a corpse, gross abuse of a corpse. On September 1st, Ellie's loved ones held a memorial. They asked everyone to wear tie-dye, to bring a scrapbook page or play a drum. All the things Ellie loved.
Ambition to use the values to bring things into the world, not take things out, to create, to not destroy. In that regard, I have failed. I not only failed myself, I failed society, I failed my family, I failed Ellie's family. And most of all, I failed Ellie. I'll never learn to forgive myself. I don't expect forgiveness. In return, I'm not the victim here. It's a burden I shall rightfully carry.
Her home. The court case moved forward. Prosecutors brought in over 800 pages of evidence. Michael's defense tried to deflect blame, citing Ellie's medications and mental health, suggesting she might have contributed to her own death. The prosecution called this argument insulting, especially after the autopsy showed she died from asphyxiation, her hands bound, her head sealed in a plastic bag. Eventually, Michael pleaded guilty to avoid a trial. 6 charges were dropped in exchange, and on sentencing day he spoke. If there was any way to bring Ellie back, I would trade places with her in a second. I failed Ellie. I failed society. I failed myself. I don't expect forgiveness. Ellie's father said, My God tells me to forgive, but he doesn't say when, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. Michael was sentenced to 17.5 years in prison, 15 years to life for murder, 18 months for stalking, 1 year for corpse abuse. He'll be eligible for parole in 2036, and again in 2037, 2041. For Ellie's friends and family, the sentence will never be enough. Her best friend Hannah put it best. She did everything right. She called the police. She tried to protect herself. She even signed up for defense classes. And it still happened. What's the point of that? An internal police review later revealed that Officer James Thomas had failed to take Ellie's initial report seriously. He didn't document her emails, texts, or even the name of her ex-boyfriend. He was suspended without pay. But that didn't bring Ellie back. And then came one final twist. In jail, Michael confessed to another murder. He told a fellow inmate that Ellie wasn't his first. He spoke of another victim, a woman named Shelley, whose body he dumped in a creek. That case remains unsolved. Michael had been watching runners, filming women, and fantasizing about control for years. No one knows how many victims he may truly have. In the United States, 13.5 million people are stalked every year. In 94% of femicide cases, stalking was a warning sign. Stalking, one officer said, is like watching a murder happen very slowly. Today, Ellie's mother, Tam, says she still feels her daughter's presence every day. I can feel what she must have felt in those last moments, the fear, the betrayal. Her cousin adds, we'll never find peace, but we will see her again. And every time they look at the field where Ellie was found, they remember the rainbow, a sign, a light, a thank you. If this story touched you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more disturbing true crime cases, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and always look out for each other.